For the skin manifestation of metabolic diseases, for the first part of the discussion, we talk about they're heavily on the microbiological infection of the skin, so pertaining to uh, the viruses, the fungi, the bacteria, okay, and yung mga consequences nun. Okay, but for tonight's discussion, we will be talking about the skin manifestation of metabolic diseases, particularly one pinaka-common is the jaundice. Okay? So, jaundice, paninilaw. Okay? Paninilaw ang jaundice. Pallor is paleness. Pallor. Okay? Maputla. Okay? So, if you want to say the patient is pale, but you want to exhibit, a smart medical terminology, you can say that the patient has pallor. Okay? Maputla. But for now, bilirubin ang sa atin, which will manifest as jaundice, pallor naman kasi that is a presentation of anemia. Okay? So lahat 'yun makikita sa skin. Okay? Lahat 'yun makikita sa skin and even systemic infections, no. So your skin tells a lot on what's going on inside your body. Okay? So if the patient is undergoing dialysis, masakit, may sakit, mapapansin ninyo parang iba yung kulay ng balat nila, no, makintab, na mabilis magsugat, na dry. Okay? If the patient is suffering from a congestive heart failure, may makikita naman kayo na parang bluish discoloration of the skin. Okay? And we call that your cyanosis. Naku, nawala sa isip. Okay, cyanosis or what we call cyanotic. Okay? So blue naman yung pinapakita niyan. Okay? But for now, yung pinaka-importante na malaman ninyo is yung jaundice. So, jaundice is a manifestation of an increased bilirubin in the blood. So, bilirubin is a yellow breakdown product of a normal heme catabolism, and its levels are elevated in certain diseases, and it is responsible for the yellow color of bruises and the brown color of feces. Okay? For the bruises, that's just oxidation. Okay? Pero pagka nag-excrete ka ng bilirubin sa GI, that will be uh, transformed into a stercobilinogen, forming a stercobilin. Okay? And that will now impart the brownish color of your stool. And bilirubin reduction in the gut leads to a product called urobilinogen, okay, which will be transformed into urobilin, and that will now impart the yellowish coloration of your urine, okay, your urobilin. Right? So it is thought to be a toxin because it is associated with a neonatal jaundice, possibly leading to an irreversible brain damage due to neurotoxicity. Okay, when a newborn is, delivered in the first few hours, class, it's only normal for a newborn to experience yellowish discoloration of the skin. Okay, we call that one as your that can be either a physiologic jaundice or a neonatal jaundice. Ayaw mo ng neonatal jaundice. Normal magkaroon ng physiologic jaundice. Dito kasi immature pa ang kanyang liver. Okay? Liver is still immature and therefore the liver is not yet capable of conjugating your bilirubin and excreting them properly. So maninilaw talaga. So there will be a build-up of bilirubin in the skin. However, that is why the baby is put under light therapy. Nakakita na kayo ng neonatal ICU, yung mga bagong panganak ninyong kapatid, pamangkin. 'Di ba merong parang drop light na tinatawag? Okay? So, nakalagay sila doon to serve two purpose, no? Una, to keep them warm, and the second is for the oxidation of your bilirubin. Remember, bilirubin is sensitive to light. Okay? That is why if you are in the laboratory and if you are asked to collect samples for bilirubin testing, tama lang class na balutan niyo siya ng maitim na takip, yung tube. Kasi transparent yung tube eh. Babalutan mo siya ng dark material para hindi ito magusong light, para accurate pa rin yung result kasi it gets photo-oxidized by light. So ngayon, if after 24 hours, hindi talaga nawala yung paninilaw ng baby, then you can assume that the patient is already suffering from what we call a neonatal jaundice. This can be due to a incompatibility of your blood. Okay? So the baby is produce parang nagkaroon ng autoantibody, no, targeting the RBC sa blood type niya. And then what will happen is that there will be lysis of your RBC. And then of course RBC, ano ba nasa loob ng RBC? Your heme, no? So therefore that will now give a very numerous amount of precursor to be oxidized into what? Into a bilirubin. Okay? So like these other pigments, bilirubin changes its conformation when exposed to light. This is used in phototherapy of your jaundice. And newborns, the illuminated version of bilirubin is more soluble than the unilluminated version. For bilirubin formation, paano ba nagsisimula? Class, medyo ma-complicated actually ang bilirubin formation. Okay? But I will leave AUBF na lang for next time for you to understand. However, I will give you right now the gist of it. Okay? So erythrocytes or your RBCs generated in the bone marrow are destroyed in the spleen. This is what we call an extravascular coagulation. Ay, coagulation. Extravascular hemolysis when it occurs in the spleen. Okay? When they get old or they get damaged. So when they get old or damaged, natural naman na mamatay na sila. So what will happen is that the RBCs will be stored in the spleen. Therefore, and then this releases the hemoglobin, which is broken down into heme, and the globin parts are turned into amino acids. Okay, and even the iron. Okay, your kasi gagamitin mo pa to eh. Okay? And even your iron will be used again. Okay? The heme is then turned into unconjugated bilirubin in the macrophages of the spleen. Your unconjugated bilirubin is also called as your water insoluble and bound. Okay, protein bound ito kasi no. Protein bound bilirubin or your B1. Okay? So bilirubin is bound to albumin. Plus pagka nag-bind sa albumin, hindi talaga siya madi-dissolve sa fluid. Okay? So hindi kaya ni B1 kasi ang goal mo is ganito eh. Okay? From the spleen, from the macrophages of the spleen, kailangan yung pumunta ng liver because that is where the conjugation of your B1 to B2 will happen. Okay? Pero si B1 hindi kayang matunaw sa tubig kasi kailangan niya muna mag-bind kay albumin. Albumin in this case is a transport protein. Okay? So transported into the in the plasma from your reticuloendothelial system. to the liver as an unconjugated bilirubin. Okay? In the liver, bilirubin is made water soluble by hepatocytes, okay, which conjugate bilirubin with your glucuronic acid to form your conjugated bilirubin. Okay? May enzyme tayo dito. Okay? Napakababaw lang kasi ng discussion. No? Okay, so the enzyme involved here is uridyl diphosphoglucuronyl transferase. Okay, your UDP, UGT. Okay? So that is uridine or sasabihin ko na no. So it's your uridine diphosphoglucuronic glu gluco hindi gluco. Glucuronic glucuronyl transferase or your UDPGT. Okay? So again, your uridine diphosphoglucuronic acid glucuronyl transferase enzyme will convert your B1 to B2 and your conjugated bilirubin is secreted from the hepatocytes to the bile canaliculi of the liver and is transported from the liver via the gallbladder. Again, so nasa liver, 'di ba? From the hepatocytes, kasi dyan nag-conjugate, to the canaliculi of the liver, and then transported from the liver via the gallbladder. So if this is your liver, nasa ilalim ng liver mo yung gallbladder mo. Okay? So, and the common bile duct to the GI tract. So your call this your gallbladder here has a connection to the duodenum, okay, ng intestine, okay? And then it has a tawag dito, a direct connection here. Therefore, when you eat fatty meal, okay, the micelle formation, remember in physiology, the digestion of fats in the stomach, the micelle formation is what is being uh, acted upon by your bile. Siya yung magtutunaw dun sa fats, no? So in some cases, uh, nagkakaroon ka ng stone dito, okay? Nagkakaroon ka ng stone dito, and that can now cause stretching of the Gleason's capsule of your, the stretching of your gallbladder, okay? And that will now cause pain, okay? So yun. So yun muna yung mababaw na explanation for the bilirubin formation. However, 'di ba napunta sa GI tract, in the ileum and colon, bacteria will convert bilirubin to stercobilinogen. Okay? And then yung stercobilinogen, magiging stercobilin, magiging kulay ng pupo mo. So when most bilirubin is excreted as stercobilin, a small amount of stercobilinogen is reabsorbed into the blood, modified in the kidneys, and excreted as urobilinogen in the urine. Remember your enterohepatic pathway sa GI physiology ninyo. So this is your stomach. Intestines, okay? For example, yan ang mga intestines mo, okay? Okay? So the main function of your small intestine is for the absorption ng proteins, ng mga breakdowns ng glucose. Okay? But when it comes to what? To your large intestine, water na lang yan, di ba, class? So all the water absorbed there, remember you have your blood vessels here, it will be reabsorbed, okay? And then it will be uh, excreted in the kidney. So in that process, a small portion of stercobilinogen is reabsorbed, and then what happens is that it will be converted in the kidney as into a lot of steps to convert it into a urobilinogen and eventually a urobilin in the urine, and therefore that will now be responsible for the yellowish coloration of your urine. But it's not always the case. Remember, you only produce bilirubin at a constant amount. So kahit na madami kang kinain, kung normal ka, hindi ka magpo-produce ng madaming bilirubin. A production of bilirubin that exceeds the normal, okay, you will now go back to the process, no? Saan ba nagmumula ang bilirubin? Okay? Destruction of your RBC. Okay? So ngayon, pag mataas ang bilirubin mo, naninilaw ka na, ang una mong iisipin ay baka merong intravascular hemolysis. Remember, this is the lifespan of your RBC ay sa extravascular sa spleen. But when you are destroying your RBC inside the blood vessels, that's an intravascular hemolysis, okay? And that will now produce a lot of substrate for bilirubin formation. Pero yung madami kang kinain na mataba, okay, kahit ano pang ginawa mo, no? Hindi naman tumataas ang bilirubin mo. Bilirubin will not compensate no matter how, how fatty meal you eat, okay, how much fat you eat, okay? Okay. So, here A naman ay pag nag-develop na yon, there's going to be an overflow. Okay? Conjugation process, yung enzyme mo, finite lang din yan. Hindi yan kung ang dami ng unconjugated bilirubin siya nakita, kunwari 10 ang conjugated bilirubin na dumating, pero 10 lang yung enzyme mo na UDP-GT, yung 10 na yon will be an excess, and that will now cause the jaundice. Okay? Class, napakababaw ng explanation ko. Pero yun na lang yung way para mapaliwanag ko, no, na maayos na jaundice is a formation is from an excess bilirubin. Okay? Jaundice is a condition in which the skin, the sclera, and the mucous membranes turn yellow. So that is why kung nakita ninyong naninilaw ang balat ng pasyente, you will now check for the sclera of the patient, and most accurately, between the three, pinaka-accurate ang mucous membrane. Yung alangala, titingnan ninyo. Okay? This yellow color is caused by high level of bilirubin, yellow-orange bile pigment. Bile is fluid secreted by the liver. So, jaundice may be noticeable in the sclera of the eyes at about 30 to 50 micromole per liter, and the skin at higher levels. And jaundice is classified depending upon whether the bilirubin is free or conjugated to glucuronic acid into an conjugated or unconjugated. Okay. But jaundice can still be classified into three categories. Okay? You have prehepatic jaundice, the hepatic jaundice, and the posthepatic jaundice. So in simple terms, okay, from what it says here, prehepatic jaundice, the pathology is occurring prior to the liver. Kaya nga prehepatic, meaning it happens before the liver. Okay? Hepatic jaundice naman, the pathology is located within the liver. So what will you think here? Okay, that the problem is the liver itself. And what happens in the liver? The conjugation process itself. Okay, so that will now happen in cases of hepatitis. Diba? Naninilaw ang hepatitis. Class, when I say hepatitis, I meant to say viral hepatitis. Okay? What about other forms of hepatitis? Alcoholic hepatitis. Pwede kang manilaw pa rin. Okay? But it is very common sa viral hepatitis. Post-hepatic jaundice, the pathology is located after the conjugation of bilirubin in the liver. So, nasaan to? The pathology is located after the conjugation of bilirubin in the liver. If you will go back at my very beautiful drawing, nasaan na yun? Aha, here. What's after the liver? It's your gallbladder. Okay? So any obstruction in your common bile duct here will now cause jaundice. Kunwari, ang daming may bato dito, may bato diyan, may bato diyan. Kumain ka ng taba kasi your stimulus for bilirubin for your bile ejection is fatty foods. Okay? So ngayon, nag-contract ngayon si gallbladder, what will happen? Hindi nakapag-contract na maayos kasi ang daming ang bato. Okay? So that will now cause pain and then then if you will see here that constantly the liver is producing B1, B2 kasi everyday may namamatay kang RBC. Okay? So what will happen here? It's like an overflow phenomenon class, no? So what should be like a one-way street? Mangyayari, babalik siya ngayon dito. Okay? Okay, so babalik ngayon yan in your portal circulation. Hmm. Okay, and that will now cause backflow, no? And that will now cause jaundice. All because wala namang problema sa liver dito eh. Ang may problema si gallbladder, ang dami niyang bato. That is now classified as your post-hepatic jaundice, meaning the jaundice is not caused by the liver, but rather anything that happens post the liver. Okay? Pre-hepatic jaundice, the pathology is occurring prior to the liver. So, ibig sabihin, anong iisipin ninyo? Wala pa sa liver yung problema eh. Okay? Probably there's a massive intravascular hemolysis. Madaming hemoglobin na nare-release, therefore madaming bilirubin na nagagawa. Okay? So prehepatic jaundice is caused by anything which causes an increase in the rate of hemolysis, such as in your malaria, certain genetic diseases such as your sickle cell anemia. This will now cause hemolysis. Spherocytosis, again, hemolysis yan. Glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase deficiency. So, in patients with G6PD, okay, yung mga baby, no, they're being screened for this. Their RBC is not healthy, therefore it's prone to eruption. So, commonly, diseases of the kidney. Bakit kaya? Okay? So, why do you think that it is commonly diseases of the kidney ang prehepatic jaundice? Okay. Basta remember that your kidney filters your blood 24/7. Okay? So when that happens, no? When that happens, so pwedeng masira kasi yung RBC mo in the along the way. However, class, I would also like to tell you as early as now that in cases of kidney severe advanced kidney diseases, particularly your CKD stage 5, all kidney functions are as in wala talaga siyang kwenta. So even the production of what hormone? Ano ba sa tingin niyo ang hormone na napoproduce ng kidney? Is there anyone? There's one hormone that the kidney is producing that is very, very important. Na-discuss pa to before in histo. That is your erythropoietin, or what you call, sir, EPO. EPO is the only, as hindi man only, is the major stimulation or stimulant for the red bone marrow to produce red blood cell. So pag bumagsak ang EPO mo due to the CKD stage 5, wala ngayong makukuha si bone marrow na hormone signal, therefore hindi siya magpuproduce ng RBC. That is now the explanation of anemia of patients who are undergoing dialysis suffering from anemia. Yun ang cause ng anemia nila. It's not because they are in uh, uh, yung kidney nila ay sinisira yung hindi gano'n, no? No? So it's because when their kidney is damaged, they are producing less EPO, therefore the stimulation is reduced. Okay? So hepatic jaundice includes acute hepatitis, alcoholic liver diseases, neonatal jaundice, is a common occurring in almost newborn as hepatic machinery for the conjugation and excretion of bilirubin does not fully mature until approximately 2 weeks of age. Post-hepatic jaundice, also called as your obstructive jaundice. Anong sabi ko sa obstructive? Bara, di ba? So, lahat ng nagbabara, that's obstructive. So, jaundice or what you call an obstructive jaundice is post-hepatic jaundice. Okay? So, the most common cause are gallstones in the common bile duct. As sabi ko na pala, no? And pancreatic cancer in the head of the pancreas. Also, a group of parasites known as your liver flukes live in the common bile duct causing obstructive jaundice. So, what happens, no? Pag may obstructive jaundice ka, remember ang sabi dito, conjugated bilirubin is secreted in the hepatocyte and from the liver via the gallbladder and the common bile duct to the GI tract. So meaning pag nandito, lilipat sa itong common bile duct mo to the GI tract. Paano kung ngayon kung wala talagang bilirubin, ay wala talagang tumapo na bilirubin. So ibig sabihin, wala ring nakuhang bilirubin si intestine, therefore wala ka ring stercobilinogen. Walang i-convert si bacteria into stercobilinogen. And what will happen? What will happen? Okay? So, the presence of pale stools. Okay? Sabihin maputla yung pupo mo. Okay? So that uh, that is an indication that there's an obstructive jaundice. Pero when that happens, class, believe me or not, na-diagnose ka na meron kang bato. No, so you do not rely on pale stools. Ay, baka mayroong bara yung atay, yung ano nito, gallbladder nito. Hindi kasi mauuna naman yung jaundice, mauuna naman yung pain sa right upper quadrant ng tiyan mo. Okay? And dark urine suggests obstructive or post-hepatic causes of as normal feces get their color from bile pigments. Okay? So, saan galing si bile pigments? Sa ano pa din, no? Kasi nag-obstruct dito eh. Nag-obstruct dito, nag-backflow dito. Ngayon, kumalat si bilirubin sa dugo, nanilaw ka, yung dugo mo punong-puno ng bilirubin. And that will now be excreted in the kidney and that will now be saan ako? Uh, their source of bile yun yung magiging source nila ng pigmentation, yung bile. Okay? So patients also can present with elevated serum cholesterol, okay? And often complain of severe itching. Bakit kaya? Kasi, ano to yan eh. Alam mo, aayusin ko na nga yung drawing ko. So, this is your liver, this is your gallbladder. Okay, your hepatobiliary tree, nandyan. This is your duct, this is the common bile duct. Diba remember, the head of the pancreas is here din. Pero nandito ngayon yung duodenum. Okay? Anong ina-explain ko? Okay. Okay. So, bale, madami kang fats dito. Fats, fats. Okay. Para ma-dissolve ang fats, para mapunta siya sa tamang niyang pupuntahan, para ma-excrete nyo ng maayos, kailangan mo ng bile dito. However, due to obstruction of a stone here, okay, of a stone here, si fats na-absorb siya as a pure form, no? So ngayon, napupunta siya sa blood, ang taas ng cholesterol mo kasi walang bile that can aid in the digestion of your fats. Okay? The next one is um, severe itching. Severe itching happens usually in pregnant women. Okay? So in pregnant women, when hindi sila mataba, but then again, there's a pressure here ng lumalaking uterus. na merong baby sa loob. And that will now cause like a pseudo obstruction. Walang bato eh. Pero naiipit ngayon yung mga bile ducts ninyo. Okay? So magli-leak out ngayon yan. Aside from jaundice class, bile can produce severe itching on the skin as well. Kaya ang sabi nila, baka that one of the telltale signs that a patient has a liver problem is kung meron siyang kung hindi maganda yung balat niya, no? So, that's it. So, ah, that's jaundice for you, no? However, in an inflammatory skin disorder, so these are not caused by bacteria. These are not caused by um, uh, defect in your enzyme systems. Rather, this is rather an immunologic. Okay. For example, we have psoriasis. Psoriasis is a multifactorial, which includes genetic and immune factors. No, you have sensitized T cells which infiltrate the skin and secrete cytokines and growth factors. Okay, therefore, the growth factors will promote continuous stimulation of your basal cell. Therefore, mag-increase ang cell turnover mo, causing inflammation and vascular proliferation and formation of your new blood vessels. So yung skin mo talaga naman dapat talaga nagsished naman talaga yan. However, in cases of psoriasis, medyo OA siya. Okay? So, there's going to be an increased cell turnover in the skin, and you will see them as a plaque covered with silvery scales due to hyperkeratosis and parakeratosis. They are bilateral. Ibig sabihin, tas ganito yan, oh, psoriasis, meron kang lesion sa kanang sigo mo. Psoriasis po yan eh. Pero ilang linggo na ang dumaan, yung lesion ng kaliwa, wala pa rin sa kanan. So, one way of telling that a disease is systemic rather than a localized. Okay? So, hindi ka naman pwede magkaroon ng psoriasis sa kanang bahagi lang ng katawan. Okay? So, dapat, ibig sabihin, kung psoriasis yan, pwedeng mauna yung kanan, pero at the same time, dapat makakaroon din yung kaliwa. Or pwedeng sabayan dalawa. Okay? The lesion is demarcated and you have an erythematous base. So, for clinical significance, yeah, you have arthritis, myopathy, enteropathy, immunodeficiency, and nail pitting. And then there's what we call an Auspitz sign. It's a microbleeding when crusts are removed. Urticaria or hives. This is seen in type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Okay? We have four. Okay? Type 1 lang muna. Kasi yung isa ay anaphylactic na, no? Severe na yon. But this one is a type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Allergy due to food, drug, plant, okay? Anything, okay? Antigen is re-exposed to a sensitized mast cell. IgE-bound mast cell will then degranulate, releasing inflammatory mediators of histamine. Therefore, you will have a hypersensitivity reaction. Okay? So, clinical significance usually on the trunk and extremities. Individual lesions are transparent. Okay, nawala siya. Transparent, transient, sorry, usually resolved in 24 hours, but the entire episodes may last for days. All ages, more common in 20 to 40 years old. Okay? So, iba ang allergy ng urticaria sa allergy na anaphylaxis. Kasi ang anaphylaxis is actually an emergency. It is a life-threatening emergency. Merong mga EpiPen, no? EpiPen. Wala tayong ganito sa Pinas eh. Kasi hindi naman daw usong anaphylaxis, no? So kung may anaphylaxis ka dito sa Pilipinas, iiyak ka na lang talaga eh. Kasi talagang ang epinephrine kasi na makikita mo lang yan sa ER, no? It's a highly regulated drug kasi ang EpiPen, epinephrine, okay?